Hi, my name is Cassius. I want to do a tarot reading for you today. Let's jump right in. I'm hearing something once again about wind. I know that came up recently. If it's been windy where you are, your ancestors seem restless, as is indicated by, take a breath and steel myself here, Temperance in reverse and the Four of Cups upright. I think that there is a message that someone from your family, either alive or not, is trying to get through to you. I haven't necessarily channeled anything like this while recording before, so stay with me. Let's pull some index cards to lighten the mood a little bit and see what words might want to come through from whoever is trying to get a hold of you right now. Hope you're doing well, by the way. Let me adjust this a little bit. I'm always adjusting. Can you relate? Okay. You started a cult I didn't want to be in. This might be something emotional. I just saw the water drip from my faucet. This might be something like, I think cult is a very heavy word. I get into the heaviness of words a lot. I'm going to continue to do that because I think it's important to me to discuss a past part of me with the left side of my nose itching for confirmation. I'm sorry if these little anecdotes that I say out loud don't make sense. This is my masculine side coming in to like explain things. You know, this can be interactive. This can be an interactive experience. You can comment. I don't want to encourage like critical comments because I would rather it be a discussion about your experience with these readings. But just let me know if there's anything you want me to tweak. And I can't promise I'll do it, especially if you feel this is a moment to like lord power over someone and tell them what to do because they offered a suggestion of like, you can add input here. This is clearly a specific energy that I'm tapped into, talking about welcoming constructive criticism in a way of like a community forum and not of like a PTA meeting. You know what I mean? I don't know if you sense the difference between those things. A community forum can be more like just straight up information relay, and a PTA meeting, as in like a parent-teacher situation, can involve a lot of emotions based on the parent's feelings about the child's progress through the program, about their feelings about the child's like behavior at home. Like it's a whole different set of structures of emotional conveyance. So I think you're being asked to kind of like separate the way that you feel about family from the way that you feel about work, if nothing else. Have you thought about it that way? Let's see what card came out here to help us move it along. I think you may know what I'm talking about. I think anything besides that feels like boredom for you. Let's draw another index card to get a little more clarity. Okay. Respect in reverse. What does it mean to be alone? We're getting into the nitty-gritty here. Cool. I mean, this clearly needs to be addressed. This is what a relative of yours or like someone that you're close to, I don't know, Sagittarius can be an indicator of who this person is, or it has some Taurus energy as well, Temperance. Maybe someone who had a big temper. That's what I'm hearing from the word temperance. Someone who's very stubborn, hard-headed, who used to speak very directly to you as a child, who you found that to be very unnerving, so they kind of have a hard time getting through to you now, whether they're still with us or not. it's still just kind of this hesitation of you recoiling into your mind when the message tends to get a little bit too intense. So I think that I'm maybe here to soften the blow a little bit of this message coming through. That this relative, I don't know, may have liked gold a lot, may have had golden hair, but maybe had a lot of like decorative furniture that was gold, or art or clothing that was gold. But let's pull from the gold deck just to see what we can ask. I mean, this person is asking you, what does it mean to be alone? And I think that for you, the answer is boredom. It means I'm bored. But I think you feel that way because there wasn't respect given to you by this person from a young age. I don't know why that correlation feels important to bring up. I think this person who's trying to get through to you, like, battle tested you emotionally to see how strong you were, but you took that as they don't like me, they didn't appreciate me, they don't want me to be a part of this family or part of this group or whatever situation you're finding yourself relating to through this. I'm getting an itch on the back of my head, which kind of feels like a confirmation. I think this ancestor, family member, grandparent, whoever, or just like a guide who's here to speak to you, is validating the fact that you weren't respected in the ways that you should have been in order to not feel the anxiety that you feel when you get alone. Don't beat yourself up for being afraid of being alone. Had another water drip for confirmation. Which tells me that, like, it's very emotional for you to be alone. And I think that this family member is telling you not to worry. You know, they see you worry, okay? And I'm sorry I keep saying family member. This can be chosen family or, you know, like a family friend. Just someone who felt like family to you, whether literally or not. I'm not trying to make it more vague for any other reason than to, like, open up the reading a little bit. But let's see what these gold cards have to say with this gold energy. Following what does it mean to be alone, we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse and the Hermit in reverse. I think that you think it's very bad to be alone, that it means struggle, that it means something to be afraid of, that loneliness can hurt you. But that's just because in the past I think this is all connected. I think whoever is trying to get through experienced a lot of loneliness themselves, experienced a lot of isolation themselves. And I'm not necessarily saying that you are experiencing that right now, but you might be just mentally with this Eight of Swords here. There just might be like a mental anxiety about a specific way of living that this person is trying to let you know you're not in the same situation that they were exactly, and they're here to tell you why it's different. I'm gonna use a different deck now. I hope this makes sense. I'm going into a more relaxed channeling style instead of trying to be so specific about how it comes to be. I'm just saying, you know, I'm definitely going with how I feel and what is coming into my mind specifically. So, let's see. You know, maybe we can ask a bit about how it's different. Okay, the Hierophant sideways, pointing to the Hermit. If you want to visualize what it looks like. Pointing that way, over to this guy. Everybody's kind of topsy-turvy, upside down, you know? And I think that's where the Hierophant really comes in clutch, and it's placed over the Wheel of Fortune, so I think everything is spinning. I think the wheel is ultimately spinning in your favor, as long as you don't spin out about this specific problem. And again, like, this doesn't have to mean the chronic isolation or the very obvious signs that someone is not interacting with others. It can be subtle, like walling yourself off in your mind. And I see that me clarifying that helped you put your defenses down about the situation. Defenses set free. I like that. You don't have to defend yourself against people who love you necessarily. Definitely not in the same way that you had to defend yourself against these other people who did not give you respect. I think you know where allegiances lie with you and where they don't, where people are about you or they're not. If they're not saying kind things about you, you don't associate with them anymore. I mean, this is just what I'm feeling. If you don't feel like, and I got a little vertigo admitting that, there's just a really strong water element happening here. I feel like I'm bobbing in the water as I say that, because this may be a tendency that you really did not appreciate in another person that you are now seeing in yourself that feels very hard to cope with. But, you know, growth is always difficult. The Tower reverse to me is pretty often saying, well done, bullet dodged, but at what cost a lot of the time? It may have cost you some stability between you and a partner, or rocked your stability about a decision that you're trying to make currently. But I think that this is a rectifying situation for how ungrounded you feel with the disrespect that you've experienced. There is a new grounding that you have never felt before. And this has people worried for some reason. They don't have clear judgment when it comes to your situation, and exactly what I'm talking about right now, about this renewal of loving energy that's helping set you upright after this near miss that really scared you. You felt really shaken by it. I'm sorry if it's like taking me longer than usual to get words out. But you identifying what it means to be alone for you personally has a lot of people, and because you were able to do that, it showed you a new way out of, I just feel that there are two lines coming in, like, lines is a strange word, but possibly two lines of communication showing some clouded judgment about your situation from figures that could choose to be supportive of what you're doing right now and what you're feeling and what you're seeing and how your life is expanding. I'm sensing, and we have the star at the bottom of the deck hiding back here, like they see that you are capable of finding enjoyment by yourself, that you're capable of maintaining the waters after a tower has fallen in a nearby stream, just gathering it for your survival and doing it in a way that gives you hope to do. You are building your own hope up once again after a tower has fallen, but I think it's really hard for you to pull back emotionally when you want to play it cool. That's what I got with the Queen of Cups in reverse under the deck. But I think realizing something like that is going to help get you restabilized, because I saw the King of Wands underneath next. So, these cards feel a little, like, slippery right now. Interesting. We have the Lovers in reverse and the Emperor upright now. This doesn't feel like internal struggle so much as it feels like a somersault in the right direction. It's like you're folding forward faster than people anticipated. And this isn't like a bragging thing. I don't think necessarily. It's just a fact. The Emperor definitely knows how to be alone. I mean, he has his kingdom to consider and his Empress, but I think the Emperor needs to retire a lot of the time alone to digest what information he's taken in from everyone around him who needs his help. And sometimes I think this has a lot to do with like how you feel in your gender presentation as it is now. I mean, I think when you're alone, you feel very different in your gender expression than when you do around other people, around people who you date. Even the Lovers can mean like your whole experience of your love life in general, or a specific partner that you have now. I think there are differences in expression from one end to another, which are totally normal and expected. I was going to say predictable, not necessarily, because I think there's someone around who wants to explore the same thing potentially, but doesn't have, I heard, the resources, the bravery, or the courage. I don't mean to be rude, that's just what I'm hearing. Well, this card like jutted out over respect in reverse, the sun in reverse. We have the Seven of Wands in reverse coming out as well with strength in reverse. You may have strong Leo placements, but your Leo placements may be feeling really downtrodden by this kind of back and forth between these energies that are overseeing your experience. We got the Three of Cups to confirm flipping out. They're overseeing your experience with clouded judgment because you're doing things in an unconventional way. And we have Judgment in reverse to kind of confirm that they are looking at you with judging eyes. That's okay. The Seven of Wands in reverse, I think, is telling you not to try to defend yourself. Sometimes there's no point. There's no point when you're trying to ease out the ways that you feel inside. In your mind, the way that your anxiety builds and subsides. Listen when those things are happening to the change of flow in your thoughts. Because I'm sensing a lot of water about this reading, you know. It's about emotion. It's about emotion with the Five of Cups coming out. Loss. It's okay to feel, you know, it's okay to feel as much as you need to. It's okay to make noise while feeling. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to talk. Three of Cups again. I think this situation has you feeling like it is limiting your chances for social opportunities, but it's actually increasing them with every step. Every time you get more comfortable with yourself and soften more into the idea that you can take care of yourself outside of anyone else's expectations, the more, no matter how you're feeling internally with the sun and strength in reverse, even if you're feeling the lowest of the low, the saddest of the sad, that energy will still bring in people to help you out through it. I hope that makes sense. I feel like it's kind of vague. I'm going to draw one more of these and then another index card and probably call it. This one feels pretty, this is like my third sad inner child card to come out. So I don't know how you identify your inner child in tarot, if you have an assigned card or anything. Mine is the Page of Pentacles, and the Sun can both represent inner child for me. So maybe you can just stay with them, your inner child, for a moment. This isn't the easiest thing to approach if you had a hard time at home growing up, or at school just as a kid growing up. If it was difficult, it's not the easiest time to like sit with them, you know, imagine them in your mind, sit with them and ask what they want, or if they want to eat anything or watch a specific show. It can be hard to even look at our inner child if we've had a hard time growing up around what they had to go through and could not yet understand. But I feel like that's why you can really hold your own, and it doesn't matter what happens around you. It's like, we've been through what we've been through, and I can always make friends. Even if there is this like feeling of negative judgment around you, there is a younger, fresher energy coming in to say, we don't care about any of that. Defense is set free. So I suppose this will be our last card. Dictator. Maybe there's a tendency to like want to be really controlling of your environment once you do get alone, and maybe that causes disharmony with your partner or whoever, you know, your roommate or your coworkers. There may be like a really independent streak in you that kind of not even gets on people's nerves, but has them kind of thinking you might be somewhat of a dictator. So I suppose with that last advice card, either be aware of others who may be trying to dictate the narratives of certain situations where you're just trying to find your way, heal your inner child. Maybe you're revisiting a dictator-like energy that you had to contend with when you were younger that kind of built this character into you of this internal judge, this internal critic that now speaks like the dictators that you've had to deal with in the past and still have to deal with in the present, more so because you might embody some of that energy yourself. So I think the next time you want to get mad, maybe just feel the sad instead and know that I think help is right around the corner and on the way when you need it. I think it's safe for you to put down what you've carried for so long in order to maintain the information to know who you are now as a result of what happened back then. Because of all of these inner child signals that I'm seeing. So you don't have to order them into wellness. And it's okay if it's hard to look at them even, but they deserve it. You deserve to feel better. And even if you are unable to quiet that inner dictator that you have inside of you, know that some friends are on the way to quiet it for you, because that's what friends are for. I just want to grab one more gold card just to close it out. Got Judgment in reverse again. Yeah, I really feel like there's a level of gossip around you, or just like some heavy karmic gunk in your field that is on its way out. I think because of these friendships that are coming in to support your process, and they're gonna see how independent and individual you are, and they're gonna admire that. And I know things are gonna improve because this card came out as well. The Nine of Swords in reverse means sleep's gonna